r-excel is a subreddit with over 500,000 spreadsheet warriors talking about Excel every single day. I poured through hundreds of threads on the subreddit to pick out the top 5 Excel tips. These tips have garnered thousands of upvotes, and some of them might surprise you. I know I certainly didn't know about all of them either. So let's get started right now with Reddit's top 5 Excel tips of all time from How To Analyst. The first tip comes from the Very Big Apple, and it has over 700 upvotes. And this user proposes a better way of merging and centering cells. The traditional way of merging and centering cells consists of highlighting the cells you want to merge and center, moving up to Home in the ribbon, and selecting Merge and Center. And this definitely looks good visually. But if you're going to use this cell in a formula, table, or dataset, it can be problematic. Instead, you can highlight the cells you want to merge and center, and in the Home tab, click on the Orientation button and select the Format Cell Alignment to open up the Format Cells menu. And of course, you can press Ctrl+1 as the keyboard shortcut to open this menu as well. From here, you can select Center Across Selection and click OK. And we'll highlight both cells to make sure they look good. And this achieves the same visual aesthetic as Merge and Center without the problems. Reddit Excel loves keyboard shortcuts, so here are 8 shortcuts that showed up a lot in the subreddit but also aren't super obvious. Control semicolon automatically enters today's date into the cell. Control 5 applies the strike-through format to the contents of your cell. Control spacebar highlights the entire column, and Shift space highlights the entire row. Alt-Enter automatically enters a sum formula, and Control-D drags down formulas to the cell below, and Control-R drags the formula to the right. F2 edits the active cell and is the same thing as double-clicking. F4 cycles through absolute value options, and Control-Shift mouse wheel down moves your spreadsheet to the right. Control-Shift mouse wheel up moves your spreadsheet to the left. Discussion of GoTo Special happens across the Excel subreddit. Highlight the range of cells that you want to analyze, and in the Home tab, pan over until you find and Select, and then select GoTo Special. You can also get there by pressing Control-G, Alt-S. From here, you can select cells based on a variety of attributes, and here are my 2 favorites. If you go ahead and select blanks, and click OK, GoTo Special selects all the blank cells in that range. And you can even press Ctrl- and Shift cells up to shift up the remaining cells. And now the blanks are deleted and you have a continuous range of data. Similarly, you can highlight the range, press Ctrl-G and Alt-S, click on Formulas, and select Errors. And then click OK. Excel highlights all of the hash value errors in the range. And here I'm going to highlight them yellow so that they stand out. In my video on fixing pivot table problems, I discussed the problem with the default pivot table layout, which you see here on the left side of my screen. I prefer, and I think a lot of people prefer, the tabular pivot table layout. And to make the pivot table tabular, click on a cell in the pivot table, click on Design in the ribbon, and under Report Layout, select Show in Tabular Form. And then I always click Subtotals and select Do Not Show Subtotals. What I didn't know at the time, and thanks to this user and their submission with more than 300 upvotes, is that you can automatically default your pivot tables to tabular format. If you click on File, Options, and then Data, select Edit Default Layout for pivot tables. You can edit your default layout to tabular, you can default to subtotals as off, and you can even repeat all item labels if that's something you're interested in. And click OK. Twice. Now, when I create a new pivot table, you'll see that it's generated with all of the options I just selected. Note that this is only for users with Office 2019 or Microsoft 365, and users with earlier versions will have to do it the old way. It can be tedious to toggle between the sheets in the same workbook, even with the keyboard shortcut Control Page Up and Control Page Down to move between the tabs. AMA88 showed how you can have a window for each worksheet in a workbook, and more than 350 people upvoted it. To enable this, click on View in the window and select New Window. And you'll know it worked because you'll see the name of the file with a dash and a number next to it. And of course, there's a keyboard shortcut to do this, which is Alt-WN. What this allows you to do is to have the same file side by side with both sheets open, so you don't have to jump back and forth between sheets. In the description of this video is a link to the exact file that we just reviewed with all 5 of the tips. The file is based on the web so you can easily save your own copy that you can have to practice on your own time. The best way to help me out is to let me know in the comments what other topics, Excel or otherwise, would you like me to cover. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you next time. If you're still here, any discussion of Excel on Reddit would not be complete without Excel memes. So here are my top 3. I've definitely been here where Excel goes wild with formatting and produces a totally unexpected number format. When you open Excel just to add 2 numbers together, this is definitely overkill, but I do it all the time. And this is my personal favorite meme, when Excel is frozen, but eventually comes back with the operation completed. It's a great feeling. And anytime you combine Excel and Jurassic Park, I'm always in. And now goodbye for real.